And now, Bruce Carpenter.
Is that good? All right. The message I'm going to speak on today is on the importance of kindness as the fulfillment of love in a divided world. We're all aware of how polarized America seems at present. Indeed, the divisions many of us face daily are deeply stressful. We are mindful of the 7 UU principles which guide us to respect the inherent worth and dignity of every person. Ours is a congregation that believes in the power of loving, giving, and sharing our blessings with those whom we share this world. But today I want to talk about more than just love. I wish to talk about kindness. While love is a wonderful and compassionate emotion, kindness asks more of us. Kindness requires action. It calls us to actually do something for others. Love your neighbor as yourself. These words, foundational to both Jewish and Christian traditions, serve as a moral compass for how humans are to live in relationship with one another. Yet while love is the command, the real challenge and opportunity lies in how we put that love into action. Without action, love remains abstract. The true embodiment of love is kindness. Kindness isn't just a Christian or a Jewish virtue. It is universal moral obligation that resonates across nearly every religion and culture worldwide. From ancient Eastern philosophies to indigenous tribal traditions, from Islamic teachings to African proverbs, kindness consistently is celebrated as one of the highest human virtues. In a world increasingly marked by division and cruelty, the call to show kindness, especially to those who are different from us, is more vital than ever. The call to love one's neighbor is first articulated in Leviticus. Do not seek revenge or bear a grudge against any of your people, but love your neighbor as yourself. I am the Lord. This verse, part of the Holiness Code, directly links interpersonal love to God's nature. Holy, just, and compassionate. In Matthew 22:37-39, Jesus emphasizes and expands on this command, stating the 2 greatest commandments, love of God and love of neighbor. He says they are inseparable. Together they summarize the law and the prophets, grounding all spiritual and ethical duties in relational love. The parable of the Good Samaritan deepens its meaning. Here, Jesus portrays a despised outsider, not a priest or religious insider, as the true neighbor, the one who shows compassion in action. The story breaks down social, ethnic, and religious barriers, showing that our neighbor isn't just someone who looks like us or lives nearby, but anyone in need. The Good Samaritan parable teaches valuable lessons about compassion, empathy, and the importance of helping those in need. The story unfolds through the interaction between a traveler who is robbed and left injured on the roadside and a Samaritan who comes to his aid. This tale is not merely about the Samaritan's actions. It also contrasts his compassion with that of other characters who ignore the victim's plight. The essence of the parable is its profound message that we should help others in their time of need, regardless of prejudice or societal divides. Jesus told this story to challenge prevailing norms of compassion and to show that being a neighbor is not about proximity or membership in the same tribe, but about attitude and action. The Samaritan's act shows that love should transcend cultural boundaries and that anyone can be a source of help and healing. Thich Nhat Hanh was a Vietnamese Tien Buddhist monk, peace activist, prolific author, poet, and teacher who founded the Plum Village tradition, widely recognized as a leading inspiration for engaged Buddhism. Known as the father of mindfulness, he was a major influence on Western practices of Buddhism. One of his teaching parables to his students is the Buddhist cup of coffee parable. In this parable, a Buddhist monk asks his students, if you're carrying a cup of coffee and someone bumps into you, why would you spill the coffee? Each one of his students said, because someone bumped into me. No, he said, the reason why you spilled the coffee is because that's what you were carrying in your cup. If you were carrying water, you would have spilled water. Then he said something profound. Whenever life shakes you, whatever you're carrying is going to spill out. So if you're carrying fear, jealousy, anger, greed, that's what's going to spill out. However, if you carry love, compassion, and kindness, that's what will spill out. So each day, you should pause and ask yourself, what am I carrying in my cup today? I try always myself to remember each morning to check my cup to see what I'm carrying. While love often begins as an internal feeling or belief, kindness is love in action. Kindness shows how love manifests in the world. It's holding the door open, offering a meal, forgiving an offense, defending the vulnerable, and speaking with patience. It's not about liking someone or agreeing with them. It's about recognizing and respecting their inherent worth and dignity. Kindness is neither passive nor sentimental. It is a choice, often made in difficult situations, to act with compassion and dignity towards others, even when it is inconvenient, uncomfortable, or unreciprocated. Although the command to love your neighbor is central to Christianity and Judaism, kindness remains a core value across nearly every faith and philosophical tradition worldwide. This moral ideal transcends geography, ethnicity, and belief, pointing to a shared human desire for connection, compassion, and peace. The Prophet Muhammad taught, "He who is not kind to people, God will not be kind to him." The Quran encourages believers to show kindness to parents, relatives, orphans, and the needy, the near neighbors, and the neighbor farther away. The compassion at your side. Islam regards kindness as an essential part of righteousness and an obligation owed to all of God's creation. Buddhism promotes metta, loving kindness, as one of the four immeasurables. The Metta Sutta encourages practitioners to radiate kindness toward all beings without discrimination. In Hinduism, the principle of ahimsa, which is nonviolence, is grounded in kindness and compassion towards all living beings. Guru Nanak, the founder of Sikhism, taught kindness is the essence of religion. Sikhs are taught to live by seva, which is selfless service, practicing kindness not only in words, but also in tangible acts of generosity and care, especially toward the poor and the oppressed. In many indigenous traditions, kindness is central to community harmony and spiritual health. In Confucian thought, Ren, often translated as humaneness or benevolence, is regarded as the highest virtue. In today's climate of division, whether political, racial, or religious, kindness becomes a revolutionary act. It calls us to reach beyond boundaries of suspicion and difference, not merely tolerating others, but actively affirming their dignity through our actions. True kindness should not be limited to our families, friends, or those we agree with. It is most powerful when it is extended to strangers, immigrants, people with disabilities, and those with opposing religious or ideological views. Kindness builds bridges, opens hearts, and disarms hatred. In Jesus' time, neighbor meant primarily people within your own community or ethnic group. But Jesus' teachings and the witness of global faith traditions have broadened that understanding. Today, our neighbor is anyone whose life touches ours, whether physically, digitally, or spiritually. Technology has transformed us into global citizens. Our choices, what we buy, what we post, how we vote, have an impact on people around the world. The stranger is no longer so distant. Therefore, kindness is not only a personal ethic, but a global duty. A single act of kindness has power that extends far beyond the moment. It can ripple through communities, shift perspectives, and change lives. It can soften hardened hearts, heal relationships, and even transform systems of injustice when practiced collectively. In a world that often feels cold and transactional, kindness brings humanity. It reminds us we are connected and invites others into dignity, warmth, and hope. Love your neighbor as yourself is more than just a divine suggestion. It is a command rooted in justice, mercy, and God's character. But love alone is not enough. Love must be shown. The purest, most tangible expression of love is kindness. Kindness is the practical, everyday expression of all that is good in us and what the divine asks of us. It softens hardened hearts and reminds us of our shared humanity. It is needed now more than ever. Today there is too much division, conflict, hate, cruelty. In our politics especially, we see growing anger and hostility. Not just disagreement over ideas, but disdain and contempt for people with different views. This climate erodes the moral fabric of our communities and dulls our capacity for compassion. We need to be better than this. We are more than our ideologies and affiliations. Although we may differ politically, the hopes and dreams and core values most of us share are more aligned than we often admit. We all seek better future for ourselves and our families. We all seek safety, dignity, purpose, and peace. These shared human aspirations should form the foundation for mutual respect and shared understanding, not fear or division. We must also reject the myth that life is a zero-sum game, where some people doing well necessarily means others must suffer. The truth is, when we lift others, especially the vulnerable and marginalized, through acts of kindness, we all rise. Kindness is not weakness. It is the strength to build a more loving world, one interaction at a time. So let us act, not just believe or feel, but do. Be kind to those we love and those we disagree with. Show kindness to the stranger, the forgotten, and even your opponent. Practice kindness not because it's easy, but because it's right and sacred. Let us strive to be better. Let us work to do better. Let our actions reflect the love we believe in. Let our lives be a daily testament that everyone matters, and let us show that truth by treating others with kindness and respect, not just in thought, but in word and deed also. Be the kindness this world so desperately needs. Let it start with you, and let it not stop with you. Aesop said, "No act of kindness, no matter how small, is ever wasted." Mark Twain said, "Kindness is the language which the deaf can hear and the blind can see." Rabbi Hillel said, "What is hateful to you, do not do to your neighbor." That is the entire Torah. The rest is only commentary. In the Quran, it says, "Whoever saves one life, it is as if he has saved all of humanity." Jack Kerouac said, "Practice kindness all day to everybody, and you'll realize you're already in heaven."